So this video is based on location, and location, all it's related to is the place where a firm decides to site its operations. It's the best location for that company given that situation. And location is quite a common question that comes up in the exam, especially in terms of alternatives, so like location A, location B, and the reason for that is because it can embed a lot of other topics. So when you're looking at financial information, marketing information, that can all come into location. So we're going to look at just some of the factors that maybe a company would consider when selecting a location. So depending again on your shop, if you're an established shop then and you've got a big brand name, you've got the financial ability to purchase maybe a property of high worth or again afford the rent, then footfall it has to be an essential factor to consider. If you think about Dubai Mall, it welcomes more than 200,000 shoppers a day. Around 50% of all luxury goods sold in Dubai last year came from Dubai Mall. That tells you the footfall, especially certain areas, because obviously Dubai Mall is so big, there's certain areas within Dubai Mall that has more of a footfall than other areas. Now, so therefore, you could even consider the rent being different in different areas of Dubai Mall. Now, in terms of the shops that you get in Dubai Mall, you're going to get the more established shops, the more high-end shops, because they'll be the ones who can afford the rent and willing to pay for that rent because of the footfall that's available. And all it means in terms of footfall is the amount of consumers or the amount of individuals that pass by, okay, the amount of consumers within that close proximity of where you are located. So again, this article says UAE mall footfalls rise, but e-commerce getting pace. So again, because of the e-commerce, footfall has dropped in certain areas. Some high streets within the UK, the footfall has dramatically stopped, and therefore demand has fallen and sales has fallen as well. So established companies with the financial ability, the more national, the more global companies their first probably priority will be footfall to guarantee the demand that they need, especially if it's an expensive premises or an expensive location. The next consideration is competition. Now, when you're looking at competition, you can look at it in two different ways. Some shops will want to be close to the competition. Some shops will want to be far away from their competitors. So again, it's that. If you want to be away from your competitors, it's because you might fear the competition. If you're a small shop, then you would not want more, larger rivals coming into that location or coming into that area. If you're a small company thinking of where can I locate, then you're not going to possibly locate it next to a national company that has many benefits. So again, you might want to consider being away from competitors, so you kind of maybe attract customers in that way. So customers may have no other alternatives, no other options but to go for your shop because the competition is not near you. Or you might think, actually, I want to be next to competitors. I already know there's an established market base because I know customers already visit for that reason. They go for that product. I'm not scared of the competition. Maybe I'm a bigger business myself. Maybe I have a global brand image or a national brand image, and I think I can compete with these other shops. And again, if I'm in that position where I think that I can take on the competitors or I shouldn't be scared of the competitors, then I'd want to move next to my competitors because of that guaranteed customer base. This is often the case with, again, fast food restaurants. There's many times where you're going down a freeway, you're going down a high street, and you see lots of competitors next to one another. McDonald's, Taco Bell, for example, in this scenario, you see Burger King next to McDonald's, and you're thinking, why are they next to each other? And it's because customers know that if they want food, then they'll visit this area because they know there's options, there's choice, there's pizza, there's Taco Bell, there's McDonald's. Now, depending on the day, the customer might have different they might have a different desire. They might want pizza today, but they know that pizza is within that area. Another day they might want burgers, but McDonald's and Pizza and Taco Bell believe that operating next to one another will draw in more customers because more customers will be attracted because it'll create almost like a hub of restaurants, a hub of fast food. Another consideration is obviously cost. You have to think about the cost of the location. What's appropriate? What's realistic? For certain areas, the renowned. So, for example, Upper Fifth Avenue. I found this from an article which looked at the most expensive locations for retailers. Now, in New York, they know that the average annual rent is $3,500 per square foot. That's just per square foot. But they're aware that it's worth the cost. The likes of Tiffany's know it's worth the cost because the type of customers that are going to be shopping in that area, they'll have the disposable income, they'll have, there will be demand, and therefore also it kind of improves their brand image because Tiffany's is a premium brand, they're well known, and therefore they're well known for being a prestigious, for being upmarket, a luxury brand. So therefore, if they're operating in a luxury area, an expensive area, then they think it'll be worth the cost. But for smaller companies, they would never operate in Upper Fifth because they couldn't afford the rent because it's out of their price range. And that might be an indicator that it's not the customer base for them as well. Other considerations is infrastructure, so looking at transport links. If you know that you're exporting a lot of goods, perhaps by the port, then you might want to be located near the port because it eases the cost of distribution. You're close to where you're distributing the goods. Again, if you want to be in a position or a location where there's accessibility for customers and employees, you might want to make sure you've got metro links or train links. Anything that eases the accessibility of your store can boost maybe the demand from customers, but also maybe attract the better workers, the workers that are willing to travel, and therefore again you can attract labour, you can attract customers. And again, you might want to be next to certain road networks. Maybe you do a lot of distribution nationally, and you need quick access onto main motorways or freeways, for example. You might need to consider how close you are to your suppliers. One example I've put here in Dubai is Dubai Internet City. Now, in terms of why I've included this within an area is because if you go to Dubai Internet City, you know the types of businesses that are going to operate there. And therefore, because of that, it attracts suppliers, it attracts customers, it attracts everybody to that area because they know it's a hub for the internet or technological firms. So again, what it does, it creates something called external economies of scale. It eases the costs of the firms located there because they're all next to one another. They're all next to suppliers, so the distribution is cheaper. They're next to the customers, so the distribution is cheaper, and so on. Another consideration is market segmentation, and that is where you group your buyers into potential groups of customers. So, for example, if you know that you're selling a luxury product where you'd require high-income customers, then you'd have to pick a location which that's appropriate for the example being Rodeo Drive in Los Angeles. Or if you know that you sell inferior goods and more discounted goods, then it might be a high street in a working class town, such as Poundland. Poundland did very, very well in the last recession, the last global recession in 2008, because they expanded to lots of different areas where consumers' disposable income had massively fallen. I've also put an example of Japan. Okay, the image is slightly being cut off there, but it's looking at the Japanese demographics for age. Japan's age group has changed a lot over the years, and now they've got one of the highest proportions of people over 65 in the world. That's because of that demographic of older age customers. Businesses may think, well, actually, if I sell goods and my demographic, my target audience is maybe pensioners and the older generation, then Japan might be a perfect location. It might be great because I know that there's a high target audience within that. If you think about Dubai, in Dubai there's a lot of car dealerships like really luxury car brands like Bentleys, like Aston Martins, Ferraris, and the reason being for that is because they know that a lot of customers have higher incomes, and again they want that lifestyle, that luxurious lifestyle, and they're willing to spend on those type of cars. So the cars know that their market segments, their demographics are located within Dubai, so they want to locate there as well.